So one of the things I want you to get the idea of is there's all this talk about big data, but big data hasn't been paying off as many people would think. And so consequently, what we want to do is you can use data for problem solving. And what most people don't recognize is that a quarter to a third of your total expenses are not value added. I mean, it's for waste and rework. You're fixing stuff that shouldn't be broken, or you're trashing stuff that can't be fixed. And that's called waste and rework. And those things eat up a ton of money. And so if you really want to boost profits, especially in this time where the economy's got to turn down, what you want to do is turn your attention and work on your own business and figure out how do I stop the mistakes and errors and things that are causing so much waste. And then you can start to make more money. This is a good thing. So one of the things over the years is I found that pivot tables in Microsoft Excel are the super tool, all right, for solving and pinpointing problems. Many consultants will talk to you about the low-hanging fruit, but the visible low-hanging fruit's all been picked. And I found that all of the big money is actually hiding in raw data about defects, mistakes, errors, whatever. And so what we want to do is use pivot tables to help us pinpoint exactly what that is. Now, with pivot tables, every multi-million-dollar improvement project I ever worked on started with a pivot table. So I think it's a very important thing for you to learn if you don't already know how. But I'll show you how to use it to solve problems. Many people use it for reporting and other stuff. No, this is about problem solving. So I saved $20 million in postage, $16 million in adjustments. In a wireless company, we reduced service order errors from 17% to 3%. And this is an IT thing. You know, it was a problem in the IT system. It was not a problem, you know, with everything else. This was an IT system bug. So we were able to figure out how to do that and do it very rapidly. And then we had figured out how to reduce denied insurance claims in healthcare by $5 million a year. And that actually saved a ton of money. And most hospitals, people don't realize, about half the hospitals in the nation are underwater. And so they're in financial difficulty. You might ask how that's possible. Well, it is. So if you have data that looks like this, and this is the denied insurance claim data, what you can see here is that there's by hospital, by admit date, there's denied charges. So if you have data that looks like this, and this is event by event, patient by patient kind of data, that could be worth $5 million a year, which it was. Now, if you have data that looks like this is manufacturing scrap data. Well, if you have scrap descriptions, whatever, then guess what? This thing here, and you could save as much as $1 million a year in scrap. Well, that's a lot of money, all right? So this is the kind of thing you can do with pivot tables and this type of data. Now, instead of using big data to try and figure out how to sell one more widget to one more niche customer, why don't we go back and get to the 25 to 30% of the business that we're throwing away every week in the process? Just to give you some idea, healthcare is a $3 trillion business. They estimate that $1 trillion of that is for waste and rework and unnecessary treatments and so on. And the Institute for Healthcare Improvement set a goal to cut that in half by 2025. That's $500 billion. This is the only way to get there from here. And that's what I've been explaining to healthcare. And I'm doing a webinar tomorrow on that for folks. So how do you go about this? Well, first of all, we're going to use pivot tables to count the errors and categorize them. And then you have to go figure out what are the causes of those things. But the pivot tables help us pinpoint exactly what's going wrong and where to fix it so that you're not spread all over the place trying to fix everything, because that's silly, all right? Only 5% of your business, that's one step out of every 25, is producing over half the waste, rework, and lost profit. I should have said 4%, all right? That's what I call the 450 rule. So to do this, what we're going to do is we're going to take some raw data. We're going to use pivot tables to summarize them. And then we're going to take that and turn that into the right charts that'll give us some insights for action. So pivot tables are really cool. They can count the occurrences of keywords, phrases, numbers. They can sum or average things. they start turning raw data into knowledge and then help us drill down into that data. And so this is kind of the key data analysis tool. Now, you can go to class and learn all kinds of things, but if you learn how to use pivot tables to do problem solving, I think you'll find that that's very powerful in terms of what it will do for you. Now, I want you to start to think about what I'd like you to do is a lot of the data I see is so summarized that you can't do anything with it. So what we need to do is start on a raw data diet, okay? Because that's the thing that you need to do. So your spreadsheet needs to, each column has to have a unique heading or pivot tables won't work. The cells with no data should be left blank and not have weird stuff in them. And your data should be consistent. So if you're going to call something Medicare, call it Medicare, not MDCR here and something else somewhere else or whatever, right? So we want consistent naming within each column. So very often you have to clean up the spreadsheet a bit to be able to do a good pivot table. Sometimes I've done pivot tables, figured out what all the various names for some title is, and then I come back, fix all of those, and then I redo the pivot table so that I get a clean summary. All right, so that's one of the things we might have to do. And what you need is, you need to know when it happened, what happened, where it happened, and if you know those three things, when, where, what, you go a long way. This one also has how much did it cost us to do that. So in the what area, it had function codes and insurance companies and types of patients, and all of those are the what's about this type of event, and which hospital it occurred in, by admit date. So when you get into the data menu in Microsoft Excel, you're going to see that they have a pivot table wizard. And so all you have to do is select your data, select and click in any cell, and the pivot table will select the surrounding data, and then you can just go start to fiddle with it. And you finish to select the fields. Then you can drag or drop things from your data into the pivot table. All right, so how do you do that? So here's some example data. And this is also within the QI macros. It's under our sample data. And so what you see here is by date, that's the when, by line, that's the where, type of defect. All right, so we know the when, the where, and the what. So we're in a pretty good position. So all you have to do is click on Excel, go up to Insert, click on Pivot Table, and it's going to tell you it's going to select all that data for you. And so now we have a thing. Let me get this picture out of my way. All right, so if you click on Date, that'll add it into your rows. And then if we click on Line, that'll start to click it over here, but we want to drag it over and start to count the number of times each line was in here. So here we have all the data. You don't want to know the grand total, but by date and by time, you might like.
Hi there, I hope you enjoyed that last clip. My name is Michael Malutis, and if you'd like to watch the full 60 minutes of that last webcast, while also getting complete unlimited access to our entire library of IT learning, simply visit our subscribe page at greatpro.org/subscribe. Unlimited annual access is $199 per year, but if you use the coupon code LEARN2EARN, you can drop that membership fee to just $149. That's less than $13 per month for unlimited access to over 1,000 hours of on-demand career development, covering the entire spectrum of IT management best practices, including business analysis and requirements, software development, quality and testing, risk management, process improvement, project management, and even digital transformation. But your membership doesn't just give you unlimited access to our vast learning library. You also get free access to our mobile app, as well as direct access to our network of over 300 of the world's leading IT consultants, all of whom are dedicated to putting practical knowledge at your fingertips so that you can learn more and earn more. I hope you will join me in becoming a member of the Great IT Professional and advancing your career with us. And if you're on YouTube, don't forget to hit that subscribe button above so that you get notified whenever we publish new free webcasts each week of the year. Thank you for your time and best wishes for your continued success.